going on, my fellow A-Plusers? Welcome back once again to a brand new episode of A-Plus Morphinominal, your stop for your Power Rangers, Super Sentai, and Kamen Rider review and news right here on our YouTube page. It is I, your more phenomenal host, Adam Perez, back once again. I know you guys missed me this past weekend, ladies and gentlemen, but don't worry, we will in fact be back later on this Saturday live for you guys at noon Central Time, so certainly join us then. But trust me when I say this weekend was just I guess you can say sort of a remembering of what, not that I could forget, but a remembering of what 2020 is certainly like. This weekend was certainly a rough one, to certainly say the least. It's been a very emotional roller coaster, guys, but we're back on our ship here, and we're continuing to keep ourselves busy by giving you guys content. So that's exactly what we're here to do. And since I did miss our live episode of A-Plus Morphinominal this past Saturday, that means I missed my Beast Morphers review, as we're set to go ahead and get into Season 2 of Beast Morphers, episode number 15, titled Goin Ape. So I want to go ahead and at least bring you guys my review for that, even if it is sort of in the middle of the week, to say the least. But we're inching closer towards the wrap-up of Beast Morphers. It's really getting sad and sadder for me each and every week to certainly see, knowing that I'm going to have to say farewell to some of these characters in this cast soon. So I'm definitely going to do my best to certainly enjoy as much as I can before this season definitely wraps up. And speaking of which, guys, this was yet another episode I certainly enjoyed, to be honest with you. Anytime we get the opportunity to focus on Ravi and Roxy, count me in, man. Count me in, because I've always felt like it was one of those, you know, those secret relationships that you're not supposed to have because of grid battle force sort of thing, right? And then eventually coming to see that that rule winds up kind of getting thrown out. I've always been wanting to see exactly what happens to Ravi and Roxy after that. So I'm really glad the opportunity we got to see these two characters shine this week. So but other than that, guys, let's go ahead and just dive into this episode, season 2, episode number 15, titled Goin Ape. Again, I definitely enjoyed this episode for the most part. A couple things that hit or miss for me, to be quite honest with you, but I love the focus of Ravi and Roxy's relationship. We start off this episode seeing Ravi waiting for his taxi. He's supposed to be meeting up with Roxy over at the Riptide Gym to go ahead and celebrate their anniversary together. And he winds up showcasing to this lady that's sitting next to him one of his fantastic paintings that he wind up doing for Roxy as a gift. And this lady's name by the name of Stacy absolutely loved what he wind up doing for his girlfriend. But unfortunately, in the midst of hurrying up to go ahead and meet Roxy, he accidentally leaves his painting behind, and Stacy winds up holding onto it until she realizes, like, oh, son, you forgot your painting, type of thing, right? So Ravi, unfortunately, does show up at Riptide Gym with nothing in his hands. And so let me just real quick throw in this honorable mention here as we dive into this episode. Quick honorable mention does go out to Ben and Betty, who, for the most part, while there are times in this season I certainly am not the biggest fan of them, I certainly don't mind them, but there are moments when I'm just like, do we really need them? We really needed them in this episode, if not for just this one moment where we get the opportunity to see Ravi and Roxy sitting at the table, seeing Ben and Betty come out and just start decorating it with the tablecloth, the candlelight, the roses and stuff, even the trumpets, which I thought were fantastic for them to go ahead and pull out, honestly. But just the timing that Ben and Betty tend to have, the fact that they worked with Roxy to go ahead and put something like that together, I thought was pretty cool. But it did make me chuckle when they hear that Ravi says, "Oh, I don't have anything," and then the music goes, "Meow." Like I thought the timing was perfect for it. So I really did enjoy that scene with Ben and Betty for the most part. I will say this though, you know, getting the opportunity to see Ravi and Roxy sort of have this this relationship quarrel, if you will, this little trouble that they wind up finding themselves in. It is interesting that that's the direction that they went to. I mean, we've never really seen Ravi and Roxy in this type of situation for that most part. I mean, if anything, we've probably seen them have some pretty good times together from some of the past flashbacks, some of the clips, which we did get a couple of flashbacks in here also of Ravi trying to remember his time with Roxy, which I thought was pretty good. I thought I saw somebody on Twitter call this episode like a clip show. I'm like, no, that's not a clip show. Those are memories, okay? Like that, they literally lasted on the screen for like 5 to 10 10 seconds. I literally didn't get like 5 or 10 minutes worth of clips from past episodes. So no, this is simply just memories from them. But I actually kind of enjoyed seeing them kind of butt heads a little bit, right? Like, and I guess that's a high school love at the end of the day. But for me, it was interesting to kind of see the lack of communication from Ravi to Roxy, because at the end of the day, guys, this whole episode could have just squashed itself if Ravi had just said, when she asks, who's Stacy? And we're like, oh, look, your gift, I have a gift for you. It was meant to be a surprise, but in a rush to come and see you, I accidentally left it. And luckily there was a nice lady who decided to go ahead and give me a call, and she's on her way to drop it off right now. Roxy would have been like, yay, I'm so happy, giving him a hug. They would have eaten, they would have feasted together. It would have been perfect. It would have been perfect. High school love. Don't know how to communicate with one another, right? So we get the opportunity of Ravi just blurting out the idea, I don't have anything. No, you do have something, Ravi. You left it. You forgot, and that's okay. And he's like, oh, well, you're going to get it later, I promise. And he plays this role like he literally did not get Roxy anything. So I completely understand the idea of Roxy being a little bit baffled, right? Not only that, but you hear the bad news that your boyfriend on your anniversary didn't get you a present, right? Then winds up leaving to go ahead and get you some drinks. And the next thing you know, he was talking about Stacy. You see Stacy's blowing up his phone. Like, I don't want to say I get where she's coming from, but there's got to be some question marks. You know what I'm saying? But listen, at the end of the day, first off, don't pick up anybody's phone without their permission. That's just asking for trouble. You know what I mean? It's just asking for trouble. That clearly shows that Roxy certainly does not trust Ravi. I mean, at the end of the day, depending on how, I don't even know how long those two have been in a relationship whatsoever. But you know what? I got to ask you a question, Roxy. If we're going to get into these allegations, where have you been the whole entire time? Last time I checked, I saved your life. And you haven't been on this show since episode 3, saving our shores of season 2. So where have you been, Roxy? What you and Blaze been up to? Huh? I want some questions. I've got questions. I want some answers, Roxy. So before you start throwing out allegations to poor Ravi, what you and Blaze been up to, huh? Where you guys been the past 10 episodes, 12 episodes? I'm waiting, Roxy. But anyway, I just thought this was funny, because then you got Roxy on the other hand, who the F is Stacy? And I tell you, Roxy, Liana Ramirez has the best like neck movements. If you ever watch her acting and performing and stuff, just her movements and her expressions, I just continue to love, honestly. If there's anybody in this Beast Morphers crew that's got like just that little neck work to give you attitude and some sass with it, it's definitely Roxy. So yeah, who the F is Stacy? That's what I want. That's what I want to know too, Ravi. But no, I found the lovers' quarrel in this episode pretty funny, honestly, just because it really comes down to just a lack of communication. But I enjoy the idea of seeing these two characters wind up sort of reconciling at the end, but I do feel as though there was certainly a missed opportunity when it comes to the reconciliation aspect of things. I think they really tapped into a lot of great sort of emotional elements for Ravi and Roxy. I mean, you can clearly see that Ravi was upset and bothered by the idea of him being called sort of untrustworthy. The fact that we even saw him and Smash talking together, right? Saying like, hey, you're my buddy. Have I ever come across as sort of untrustworthy, right? So we really get to see Ravi in his thoughts. We clearly get to see Roxy and her thoughts also. So I really liked seeing that aspect of this, of the relationship brought up here in this episode. And quick honorable mention does go out to Smash, who actually has a bigger role in this episode than even I was certainly expecting, trying to play that moderator, if you will, bringing these two characters together, to be there to talk to Ravi whenever he needs to, reassure him that he's a great guy, you know what I mean? But also trying to bring Roxy in so that those two can figure out what their situation is and hopefully apologize and move forward, if you will. So I really like the importance that Smash certainly had in this episode, even if he wasn't around very long, because it is an element of those connections between the Beast Morphers and their beast spots that I really have missed all season long, that I honestly love from Go Busters. So just to kind of see Smash at least have a little bit of a role like that, I think again continues to show why they should have had a bigger role in this season all along, for just moments like that between him and Ravi, those little heartfelt moments where they can talk to each other, right? Because even though Ravi kind of goes up to Smash and is like, hey, you're like one of my best friends, or just kind of trying to showcase that they've been around each other a long time, the type of thing, that they get along pretty well. I haven't really seen that in this season, honestly. So I really wish that they focused a little bit more on the Beast spots and their relationships with the Beast Morphers, because it did pay off for me here in this week's episode. If there was any downside, though, that I really wasn't the biggest fan of, it was really the wrapping up of this episode. I honestly felt the wrapping up, or at least the last final scene, was extremely rushed, a lot more rushed than it certainly needed to be. I mean, we literally just cool off Ravi for like the second time. We bring him back to the command center, and we're literally having to hold him back because he's still steaming until he gets the opportunity to see Roxy, and she winds up sort of apologizing to him. There is a really great moment. So shout out to Jasmeet Badawalia for a great performance here and just showcasing his anger. Ravi's already jacked as it is. I would not want to mess with Ravi anyway, but the fact that he gets that heated and has got that type of a temper when he overheats, yeah, no, one of the scariest dudes on set, I'm pretty sure, when it comes to Ravi. But I thought Jasmeet did a really good job just showcasing that here. But when you see him steaming and he's starting to listen to Roxy, I really wish that they dove more emotionally into that, right? Like, Ravi's been overheated all episode long. He's been pushing himself all episode long. The guy's got to be exhausted, right? Like, I really would have liked to him when he finally stopped overheating and realization hit him. I really would have loved to have seen him fall to his knees just out of pure exhaustion, and have somebody like Roxy be there to certainly help him up. Give each other both the apologies that each and every one of you certainly deserved, and then have Ravi apologize to his damn team also. Like, you literally just shot at Zoe in this episode. Nate literally had to push her out of the way to save her life, and then even Nate scolded you like, yo, you need to calm down, Ravi. You are overheating way too much, right? So I really would have liked to have seen Ravi just give an ultimate apology to everybody. Like, guys, I've never been in that position before. I'm sorry I got so heated and emotional. I mean, when I watched the Go Buster episode of this, which we just did a reaction video for the Go Buster episode earlier this week, like in one of those scenes that they didn't use in here, the Blue Ranger winds up literally punching the Yellow Ranger in the face. And I don't recall seeing that scene in Beast Morphers. And then he winds up trying to shoot at her later on in the episode. So there really should have been, like, this is probably the second episode where I felt like people's actions didn't have sort of consequences to them at the end. And by what I mean by that is, when we saw Roxy from Saving Our Shores using her aunt's own money and making these false calls and making payments to get things to continue, and like, people just congratulated her at the end of the episode. There was no like hand slapping, no punishment. There was no consequences for her actions of her picking up the phone and spending somebody else's money to do something, right? This is the same thing. You literally shot at one of your teammates. You fought each and every one of them. They deserve an apology, and they didn't get one in this episode. So I feel like this is the second episode that I've seen of Beast Morphers where kind of sending a bad message. You know what I mean? And then it just ended, with the splash of water or whatever the case may be. So felt a little bit rushed at the end. I really would have liked to have seen a little bit more emotions, if you will, but storyline wise, I definitely was on board with this week's episode. And I also, quick honorable mention also goes to just the feud between Ravi and Robot Roxy. This has definitely been one that I've enjoyed all season long, not just season 2, but season 1. The one thing that we've talked about is that Ravi has had a lot of screen time. I feel like if there's any character on this show that I feel like they really paid attention to and gave a lot of back history and lore and just character depth, it's definitely Ravi. And so to kind of see his relationship with Roxy being this secret, him having to overcome the struggle of fighting against an evil version of her each and every time throughout the season. They definitely have had their quarrels, to say the least, right? You guys remember from season 1 where she tried to pretend to be Roxy and like I'm fine, I'm so much better sort of thing. You remember that storyline. So to kind of see this, I don't want to say come full circle, but I thought it was great. Like even Robot Roxy was like, I'm tired of this Ranger. Like, and they just decided to go ahead and fight. Like this was going to be their ultimate sort of showdown. I thought it was brilliant. And that's definitely a storyline that I've certainly have continued to enjoy. So kudos to just having some great moments and some great action sequences here between these two. And then just speaking of action sequences, man, talk about a great integration of Super Sentai footage and original action and original footage and fight choreography. Being able to find something along the New Zealand beach that sort of resembles the Super Sentai counterpart. There's a really great shot where you get a camera sort of over a hill that's on the top of a hill where you see our main Rangers fighting, and then the camera kind of goes over their head down towards the beach where the hill drops off, and then you start seeing Ravi and Roxy fighting. I thought that was just a brilliant, or maybe it was I think that might have been actually Roxy and Devin fighting, and then we had Ravi and the rest of the team fighting against each other at the top of the hill. But regardless, I thought that shot was absolutely beautiful, and I really love the action sequences in here. You know, because of the fact that we literally just did the reaction for this, the Go Buster counterpart episode, I gotta say, I think both episodes handled itself really well. I'm definitely probably leaning a little bit more towards Go Busters, but certainly make no mistake, I think Beast Morphers did a phenomenal job in utilizing this episode into doing something of their own in regards to a storyline purpose. Not perfect, because I definitely had my issues with it, but overall, from the Ravi and Smash stuff, I really enjoyed the continued feud between Ravi and Robot Roxy was great, and really just to kind of finally see a lover's quarrel, if you will, between Roxy and Ravi, and them really having to kind of come the blows and have a better understanding and trust in one another. I thought it was a really well thought out episode for the most part. And you know, if anything, I really felt that this episode had a lot of stuff packed into it, especially action wise, so I can kind of see maybe why the ending of this episode was kind of cut as abruptly or as short as it certainly was, because there was certainly a lot to unpack. But overall, guys, solid episode, one I really enjoyed. I definitely probably going to go back and check it out once again, but I definitely want to know your thoughts. Again, guys, these are always just my A+ opinions. At the end of the day, though, I certainly want to go ahead and know yours, so please let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, we will be back later on this weekend. If anything, I believe Power Rangers issue number 1 comes out tomorrow, so I'm going to see if I can try and do like a double billing of Mighty Morphin issue number 1 review and Power Rangers issue number 1 review as well. If not tomorrow, then definitely by Thursday, because I definitely still owe you guys a Mighty Morphin issue number 1 review. So we'll definitely go ahead and have that to certainly look forward to later on this week. But other than that, guys, that's going to go ahead and do it for me here. Listen, if there's anything that I missed out of this episode, whether it be character details, plot storylines that you guys further want to go ahead and talk about, feel free to go ahead and let me know your thoughts in the comment section box below, and we'll go ahead and continue this discussion for Beast Morphers. In the meantime, though, guys, listen, if you're looking for a brand new home for your tokusatsu stuff, your Ranger Nation stuff, this is definitely the home for you. I'm not asking you to leave your other Power Ranger YouTubers. No, if anything, add me to your list. Add me to the list. Become a part of my family as well, guys. Hit that subscribe button along with that bell notification so that when we do drop brand new videos, you will certainly be notified. And if you love our content, if you love our videos, hit that like button, guys. Give us that big thumbs up so YouTube can certainly recognize our work. And other than that, if you want to follow us on social media right here at APlus Opinions, you can follow us on our main hub, our page on Facebook. We're also going to be on Twitter as well as Instagram and Twitch for you gamers. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, do me a big favor. Take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and may the power protect you. I'll talk to you guys later. Keep it A+. Bye.